You can spend more than $400 on noise cancelling headphones, or you can spend under $100.
So in today's episode of Do You Really Need Expensive Noise Cancelling Headphones? We'll take a look at the OneOdio Focus A6. They look great and do some things better than those expensive flagships.
Namaste, we're DHRME, dope heroes rocking musical ears.
This video is sponsored by OneOdio.
So under 100, it's considerably under 100.
Let's be a bit more precise.
30% under 100, so about $70 or 76 euros. And all the other prices are on screen up here, I'm hoping. But what are you getting for that, Kevin?
Yeah, personality.
Oh, yeah.
Hells yeah. I've got to say, when the light hits these ear cups at the right angle, I like the way that they've made this, what is this, like
CD pattern.
Yeah, exactly. And so, personally, I'm a sucker for nice looking stuff.
Superficial, yeah.
Yeah, some may call me that. But overall, right, just starting from the unboxing experience, it was pretty nice. Obviously, you get no carrying case or protective case in the box, but you do get a single USB cable, which you can use for audio as well as for charging.
Yeah, and when you are giving a cable that should be used for audio as well as charging, it needs to be long. And this one, I mean, you see the length? Do you see the length?
Jeez.
Okay.
You're gonna
it's long.
Tear down this place, man, with that cable.
Right. So for the rest of the video, this is how I'm going to sit. See how long the cable is. But yeah, it's a good high quality cable.
Yep.
The audio over USB-C does work. We'll talk more about that in the audio.
You get them in two colors.
Yeah.
You get them in this color, which is black, and you get a lighter color as well. Ivory blush. Okay. That was their name for it. But like I said, they are foldable and they are lightweight.
Yeah. It feels, very light on the hand, on the head.
When they are on your head, you can adjust them with my favorite, ratchets.
It reminded me a little bit of the Sony WH-1000XM2, that kind of style.
Oh, yeah.
The top of the adjustment, also the headband padding.
Yep.
Very similar. And even though, it obviously at this price point, you're not getting super premium materials, but it feels hollow, but the design is nice. And it kind of looks nice, when you're wearing them as well.
Yeah. One thing I didn't like, though, is the headband. The edges are kind of sharp feeling.
Sharp, yeah. I don't think they're going to cut anyone, but yeah, if you put enough force, it can leave an imprint.
Correct, yeah. So although in terms of materials, they may not be the most premium, they'd feel a little bit hollow, but design-wise, like I said, it's up my alley. All right, phone calls. Let's have a listen to some samples. This is a noisy mic test on the OneOdio Focus A6 with sounds in the background. Pop, pop, popsicle, ice, ice, icicle, test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. And now softly, pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, ice. Test, test, test. Alright, this is a windy mic test on the OneOdio Focus A6. Pop, pop, popsicle. Ice, ice, icicle. Test, test, testing. 1, 2, 3. And now softly, pop, pop, popsicle. Test, test, testing.
All right, they're pretty decent. If you speak loudly, then these headphones can take on noise and wind. And actually, the wind was above our threshold for good wind, 4 meters per second. And that's not easy to do. So decent.
And for the Fuckman, you can do a couple of call controls straight from the headphones. That's answering and hanging up phone calls, as well as changing the volume. But unfortunately, you can't change the ANC mode that you're on, nor can you mute the microphone straight from the headphones. And you might be thinking, well, if I can't do it from the headphones, I could probably open up the app and change the ANC from there. You cannot do that.
Yeah, so it basically disables all ANC when you're on a call. It just goes to normal mode. That's something to keep in mind. Yeah.
And speaking of disabling and enabling,
buttons, all buttons. Show me your t-shirt.
Yeah.
So we're Buttonophiles on this channel for audio products. We love buttons and physical controls, and that's what you're getting. 3 buttons on the right ear cup and the power play pause button. It has a dimple, easy to feel, tactile, excellent. And there's a unique thing about these controls.
Yeah. So what's cool is that there's that ANC button, a dedicated button, and it cycles through the basic ANC modes. But if you double tap that same button, it actually toggles the wind reduction modes. So that's handy. So you're getting 3 + 2, 5 modes under one button. Pretty cool.
Yeah. And how does the ANC perform? Well, the noise cancelling itself, we put it in tier B. similar to something like the earphone Wave Life,
Yeah.
if you know what that one is. Good entry-level noise cancelling, especially for the low end. I mean, for example, I was sitting right next to air conditioning, and I put these on, and the air conditioning, the low end was gone, but the voices and higher end sounds still tend to seep in quite a bit. But that's what you expect at this price point, pretty much.
Yeah, that's right. And the transparency, we slotted in at tier C. So the low end comes in quite well, but voices are somewhat muffled. For general awareness, we would say these are fine, but they're not very natural sounding. There's also no noticeable white noise in quiet conditions, so that's good. And the occlusion is not that prominent on these headphones. We've definitely seen worse.
Yeah. And like we said, separate wind noise reduction modes. Yes, it's great. You can reach them with the buttons, but the idea is good, but in our experience, both the wind ANC and wind transparency were kind of equivalent to their non-wind counterparts. So the ANC and transparency, we didn't really hear much of a difference. And in the wind, actually, ironically, the best mode was the normal mode. So you do get some awareness, but the microphones turn off and there's no whooshing sounds.
Correct. Which OneOdio calls ANC off.
ANC off. Yeah. So maybe this can be fixed with a software update. And
I hope so.
Yeah. Because it's a very good idea. And performance was not quite there.
Yeah. And something that OneOdio seems to be prioritizing on their headphones, earbuds, and we're happy to see that, is actually hearing health related features. So an example of that is a max volume limiter in the app. Again, nothing new, right, guys? But you can turn it on and you can set how many decibels you want to limit the maximum volume to. But another thing that we saw was...
It's an overtime wear reminder, right?
Complicated name.
Yeah. So basically, hearing health is not just about that moment in time, how loud the volume is. It's about continuous exposure, and you kind of get a reminder if you've been wearing headphones for too long, you know, for the heat generation and all that, but also for the volume.
Yeah.
So it's nice that you get that reminder. Hey, I've been listening to stuff for 4 hours. Maybe I should take a break. And the app gives you that. Nice.
Yeah. Sound quality. You get audio over USB. So that long cable that Rowan is still wearing around his neck, you can use directly connected to your computer or your phone or whatever.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is that you can use the buttons to play pause. That works. You can use the volume to change volume natively on the device itself. You okay, man?
Yeah, I'm okay. I'm just
not going to suffocate, right?
I'm good.
Okay. And you can also change the ANC mode that you're in. So all of that works. I was happy with that.
Yeah. And in terms of sound, this one is for the bass heads. Now, we did also receive the OneOdio Focus A6 when it came out, but it was a bit over the top in our view in terms of bass. So the default mode on this is the pop mode. So they have a few presets, and pop is the one you get. It's also bass boosted, but not quite at the A5 level. So you can still listen to music, and you get 2 bassier modes on top of that. So if you're a bass head and you like bass cannons, this is probably at this price range for ANC headphones the one to get. But you have 3 EQ custom presets, like I said, the pop and the 2 bass and super bass, but there's also 7-band EQ. And I managed to get a reasonable sound with these, with about average treble performance, I'd say. So decent for this price point. The good thing is the EQ that you do change, it stays on the headphones. So when I did change EQ and I switched to USB mode, it was still there. So that's nice. And there's a movie mode, which kind of widens the soundstage a little bit, but in our view, it's just another EQ preset because with the movie mode, you can't use any of the other EQ presets mode. So once you select that, the EQs get disabled. That's a little bit about the sound of these headphones. It's not all about sound. It's a convenience product, and you get a ton of extras as well.
Yeah, one of those extras is game mode. So that will help with reduced latency while you're gaming. But funnily enough, we don't game, but we do edit, for which also low latency is very helpful. Yeah. And the low latency can go as low as 0.065 seconds.
Yeah. And that's what we didn't talk about is the connectivity. That's Bluetooth 6.0. Yep. So it's nice that you're getting the latest of the Bluetooth stack at this price. You're getting an auto power off feature, which you can configure. You're getting multi-point, which you don't get a device list in the app, but you can connect to 2 devices at once. You will have to sacrifice LDAC though. And it does help you find your headphones, but it can just play a tone. There's no GPS-based tracking there.
Yeah. For the battery life, OneOdio is advertising 40 hours with ANC and 75 hours without ANC. And
Fast charging.
fast charging.
10 hours with 10 minutes of charging, which is nice.
It's just a lot.
Yeah.
And then comfort. Did you find these headphones to be comfortable?
Yeah, so they're light, like we said.
Yeah.
The headband, there was no pressure for me at all. But the ear cups, you said they reminded you of the XM5, right?
Yeah, because if you look at them, they don't actually look very deep. And so, but in terms of comfort, they were fine. They were very similar to the XM5s from Sony. What I did feel on these was a little bit of pressure on the crown.
Oh,
Yeah.
surprising. Yeah.
You did not feel
No, I did not.
Okay. What do you think of the ear cups?
And on the ear cups, I do think they're a bit, on the warmer side. Although OneOdio does advertise that it is, they're using special materials, etc. For me personally, it was a little bit warm and sweaty.
Yeah.
You don't remember exactly.
I know. I don't quite remember. Yeah. Comfort is subjective and everyone's head is different. So yeah, your mileage may vary. For this price point, interesting pair of headphones, but at every price point, you have compromises or sacrifices rather.
Yeah.
One of them being, like we started off by saying, there is no case in the box.
Yeah. No soft case, no hard shell case, nothing.
Nothing. Another thing you do not get is a wear sensor. So removing these headphones from your head will not automatically pause your audio and resume it when you put it back on.
Yeah. There is no auxiliary port or cable, so no 3.5 millimeter passive listening.
Yep. And the build quality. The materials do feel hollow and it does feel plastic. And the headband is a little bit sharper around the edges, but that's what you're getting at this price. And like you've come to expect from us, we don't, pull any punches when it comes to our videos on products, sponsored or otherwise. And this is no different. And so we'd also like to give some feedback to the brand.
Yeah. The first one, which we already gave over email, was remove the need for location in order to use the app. Now, many if you're using an older stack of Android, the location was kind of baked in with the nearby devices. That's not the case anymore. So I'd like to see that changed. One thing I would like to see changed is custom EQs. They worked quite okay for me, but there was a huge volume drop going from like pop to custom EQ was like a 3-4 notch volume drop. So it would be nice if that was fixed. And I would like, talking about EQs, have exact EQ frequencies in the band, because right now there's no label on the x-axis. So it would be nice to see what that's about.
Yeah. So if you like this product, you can check out the affiliate links in the description down below. OneAudio did hook us and you guys up with a discount code, so check that out. It is available for a limited time though. So yeah, all the details in the description. And again, a big thanks to OneAudio for sponsoring this video. Just to remind you guys, sponsorships is just helping us prioritize our backlog. We have a ton of products around here to review and to make content on. And this is just, helping us make this channel sustainable by earning some money, but also for brands to put their products in front of you guys. And that's how this video came to be. But a big thanks to our
Tested tier members, all you beautiful people supporting us directly. Thanks for making this more sustainable. And
a very big thanks to our Fakman tier, Jay, Rachel, Paula, and Reds Panda.
You've been one with the audio.
And we've been DHRME.
Doi.
Doi.